Hello everybody, Steve Farmer here, wishing you a happy 4th of July. Hopefully this game will be posted on the web by tonight. Right now it's raining cats and dogs here in Tucson, and I have nothing better to do than to do a video here. And I've got round 4 coming to you from the U.S. Amateur West 2012. I actually have a couple feature games that I want to bring, and this is one of them. This is a game between Leonard, who is playing white, rated 1883, and he's playing Ethan Z, and Ethan is rated 1955. So Ethan's the favorite to win the game because of the higher rating, but they still make you play the game. Josh started out with E4 and E5. Knight F3, Knight C6, now Bishop to C4. Now this could be either a very tame, quiet opening, or it could be one full of tactics, and I would expect with Josh being at the helm on this, it's going to be a sharp one. Ethan takes up the challenge and plays Knight F6 for 2 knights defense. Overstart, overstart, overstart. Knight G5, are we going to get it? D5, we still don't know yet. E takes D5, and Knight A5. Oh, Fritz. We go back. B5 would bring the Ulvestad up, and it's one of my pet lines. Whenever I answer the king pawn opening with E5 myself, I often try and get into this if they play the Bishop C4, Knight G5 stuff. But okay. Knight A5 and Bishop B5, and this is all standard opening theory. Now I like Queen F3. The most popular move is actually Bishop to E2. You know, I just don't know. I don't think that's the best. I think Queen F3, and the idea is after he plays like Rook to B8, he did not play this in the game. If Rook to B8, which is the most popular in this position, then you can play Bishop to E2 now. And the benefit here is that the queen has gotten outside of the pawn structure, so you got a little more activity there. Okay. Instead of playing Rook to B8, Ethan played H6. It's a fairly rare move, but it has been seen before. Knight to E4, Knight to D5, Knight B to C3. Now, an interesting line that I saw in one game, I'm not sure how well it works, is F5. Now, you have to be ready for this if you're playing white. You can get around it with no problems early, but you just need to be aware of it. What you want to do is play Knight takes D5, and then F takes E4 as the usual reply. If he takes the bishop on B5, I think that's just bad for them. So F takes E4 and queen checks. King to D7. Now the only game I have of this has queen takes E5, and black ended up going on to win. But I think better than queen takes E5 is bishop A4. Keep the pressure on the C6 pawn. It's pinned. Why not take the material and run with it, you know? You're up a pawn, so why not fight for it? Okay, so bishop A6 stops you from castling, but now you got queen to F5, check, king D6, and now you just simply bring the knight back. You're ready to take on E5. Then you can play D3, bishop comes out, and you can castle long, or you can play D3 and castle short even. But white's got a very good game here. In fact, white may well be winning at this point. In our game, after knight B C3, Ethan took on B5. He grabbed the bishop. Now knight takes D5. Of course, queen takes. It allows knight to F7 check, and then queen on F3 takes on D5. So Ethan played bishop to B7 here. Again, let's take a step back. Bishop to E6 is another common move in this position. And then we can see knight to E3. Okay, it's kind of a bit of contorted play by white, but he is a pawn up. Black does have the bishop pair, and he's got an open position with which to use the bishop pair. So there's a bit of compensation here, but I don't feel it's enough for black. So bishop E7 is the common move here. Queen to G3. Now queen to D4 is a good move, because if queen takes G7, he can castle long, and this just looks risky for white to capture on the king side. Yeah, where is white going to castle now that he's done this? So I would recommend instead of queen takes G7, you play D3. and then knight to c6, a4, b4. Now you can take, and when he castles, you just bring the queen back, f5, and then knight to d2. Now you're ready for some re-maneuvering, like, oh yeah, even knight to c4 looks like a good idea here. But the point is white's up 2 pawns, and is certainly willing to go through some contortions to maintain that material advantage. Black's got some play, so I'd have to call the position unclear. It's kind of one of those positions right now, while black has the initiative, I'd like to have the black pieces. But once the initiative runs out, I'd like to have the white pieces. But you can't play both sides. Back in our game after knight takes d5, Ethan played bishop to b7 instead of bishop to e6. Now knight to e3, same ideas. But now we get our first new move of the game, queen to h4. And I'm not sure that it's a very good move. Now white plays d3, which allows a bishop check, and then c3. Now I think the best here for black is to play bishop takes e4. He did not. He played bishop to c5 in the game. But let's step back. Bishop to e7, I think white is just comfortable here. So I think the best for him is to play bishop takes e4, and d takes, and now bishop to e7. And I think that white's doing pretty good here. He's up a pawn. He's starting to get out of his cramped position. I think white is better, clearly better. But still, if we go back to the game after c3, where bishop to c5 was played, this is a mistake because white can now play knight f5. And we see that the queen going to h4 is an epic fail. It doesn't achieve anything after this move. Black decided to trade on e4 now. And after d takes e4, the queen has to go somewhere. She goes to f6. And now the point of all of this is b4. Forking the bishop and the knight. Yeah, play all over the board. You really got to pay attention. So bishop c5 was just absolutely a horrible move. Bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, now knight to c6. White castles. Now he's up a full piece. Black grabs one pawn for it. Now rook to b1. If we go back, I thought rook to d1 was a better move. Let's take a look at this. We're threatening rook to d6, and then where's that queen going to go? And we have penetration possibilities with queen to c3 or even queen to a3. Bishop to a3 is also a threat. So he has to do something with it right away, and I think rook to d8 is the move, but after the trade here. And now bishop to a3, we're hitting the knight, and we're ready to bring the other rook into the game. This is just clearly winning for white. And let's go back. After he plays knight takes b4, Josh played rook to b1, which is an okay move as well. Knight takes a2. Now he's got 2 pawns for the piece, but white's just got too much activity here. First, Josh corrals the knight. Now b4, a queen to b3, and this just helps to liquidate material off the board to give white a winning advantage here. Now, queen to b5 check I thought was a very good move by Josh. No need to go after the pawn. He's got bigger targets in mind. And his opponent made it easy and played king to d8. Let's step back. King to f8 was no picnic either because of queen to b8. And I think the guys looked at this after the game and realized that, you know, black's just busted here, but not for the reasons that they thought. Here, they thought it was mate, but it's not mate. Of course, if you play rook takes, then this is mate, like so. But you can play queen to d8 here. And there's no harm, no foul with this, but white can play now. Queen takes e5. Hits the pawn on g7, which would win the rook on h8. So, rook takes. And now, queen takes c3. And through this check on b5 and b8, white has managed to grab both of those pawns. So, white is now a clear, full piece up. In our game, though, after queen to b5 check, he played king to d8. Rook F to D1 check, and after King to C7, Queen to B7 was checkmate. See, I told you he made it easy. All right, this is a very nice miniature in the capable hands of Josh Leonard, and against a very good player. He's rated 1955. Ethan is, he's a young lad, but he's going to improve. He's going to get better, and it's nice to see the older guys beat up on the younger ones once in a while. It doesn't happen as often as it used to. All right, that's it for this game. I'll bring you another feature game shortly, so I hope to stay tuned for that. And again, we're looking at round 4 from the 2012 U.S. Amateur West Regional Championship. Thank you for watching, and until next time, good luck.